Hello everyone. Hello friends. Well, it is humid and it's about 6:30 on the 1-year anniversary of my sister's sudden death. And I'm just taking a moment for reflection and a lot of things are going through my mind, so grab your cup of tea and sit back and catch up with Kaye. Well, being a prepper, I guess I'm a prepper. All I've been doing since I moved here is preparing. It has its drawbacks, you know. My son Walker is visiting this weekend, and I haven't seen him in, I think, almost a year or two. You know, they're of that age where there's weddings, and when they're not working, there's all this other stuff going on, and they've got to go, and there's just no time for family to get together, you know. And so he happens to be here, and I was trying to coordinate a dinner with my brother and his family, his daughters and families in Nashville. And one of the families is coming back from Paris today, and one is, and my brother is flying back from DC today. And then tomorrow night won't work because the other daughter's family has a wedding to go to, and my brother's babysitting their kids. So it's just, I couldn't even get together with this part of my family. So it's interesting. And then my other brother and his whole family are going off to the beach. They've done this, they're probably doing the same thing they did the last 2 years, is rent a house. I think it's in South Carolina on the beach, and you know, he's got 8 grandkids, so it's just a fantastic way for them all to be together for a week. So here I am, cramming it all in. That's something I wanted to mention is in my video, if you saw it yesterday, the part 1 of my garden update for June, I mentioned that, you know, I was always known for cramming it all in, getting it all done, getting the job done, just managing, keeping all the balls in the air, you know, being the cheerleader. Oh, that's good. If you're new to my channel, I drink cacao, which is like the pure form of chocolate, and and I put raw honey in it, and I usually put in some powdered chaga mushroom. I forgot this morning. But I was saying in the video about how I used to cram it all in, and I was thinking that I was going to cram in a few more things in the side garden. And so I filmed that in the morning. I went in and I made the video. I didn't get it quite finished. I was going to upload it that day, and I didn't get it quite finished, and I just stopped. You know, after editing for 5 hours, you know, sometimes you're well, I don't know if you know, but you start to just not get so sharp and everything, and sometimes it's a good idea to just go back and watch it the next morning with fresh eyes. So that's what I did, and so it got out the next morning. But in the afternoon, after I edited for 5 hours, I went back over to the side garden, and as I think I mentioned in the video, I was going to I had these grow bags. There was 3 7-gallon and 1 15-gallon grow bag that I had never used, and they, you know, on the back side of the bean trellis, it's where all the water runs off, and the soil just runs down. It's very compacted. You can't get anything going there with the soil that's there. I would have to import the soil and bank it up and maybe even put a board there to hold it in place. So I said, hey, let's just use those grow bags, and everything's vining that comes up out of that, pole beans, and I also planted butternut squash. You know, butternuts you can grow on a trellis because they're not too big. You know, you can suspend them from the trellis. So I worked till dark, and I thought, okay, I think I'm done there. And the only thing that I would do is clean up and take the peas down and just clean up mulch. I want to get more mulch. I've got plenty of hay and I want to get more mulch. And of course, there's all the maintenance. There's the maintenance of corn. I need to bank it up more. I need to give it more nitrogen. I need to water. We have had that one little rain, and I've been watering. I just didn't imagine that I would have to spend 2 hours, nearly 2 hours a day watering, because that really cuts into this time you could be gardening. I mean, you could be planting something, and so but anyway, I got red calico beans. I found some more from Daryl. That's in one pot, and the other pot is it's an heirloom bean as well. It goes back centuries. That was given to me by a fan, and also some cantaloupe seeds that another fan sent me. And then I have the butternuts, which originally came from Daryl. But I think what I put in that is the seed that I grew from his seed. So I think that's what's down there. And then, of course, I planted the potatoes. And then, remember I said I'm just going to leave this empty space for the watermelon vines to grow down? No, I couldn't leave an empty space. It's just not who I am. And so I planted, I had it was 3 or 4 pounds of potatoes, but they were organic from the store, but they had been sitting on the shelf too long, and I thought, okay, get those in the ground, so that's what I did. So that garden is pretty much done, except for cleanup, mulching, and watering. And probably I'll put some more compost, fertilizer. It's all maintenance kind of stuff. I don't think I'm going to plant anything else out there. So about my sister, her family is gathering tomorrow, I think. She has 2 sons, and 1 son and a daughter live right there by my brother-in-law, where she used to live. And so they got a really beautiful headstone, and she had a traditional burial and all that. And it's kind of cool because they live out in this community. It's like a bend of the river, and so this community grew up around this bend of the river, and they had their own church. Just this little community had their church, and she loved that church, and she went to church there for, almost 50 years. Because she fell in love like her first. She was 19. I can't remember. I guess it was her first year in college. My sister kind of got saddled with a lot of health problems, and unfairly. I always felt like it was unfairly, because the rest of us didn't, and she inherited the progressive scoliosis from my grandfather, and lifelong problems with that. But when she was 19, that year, I think that she met her husband, or to-be husband. They got married like before the ink was dry on her her college diploma. But that year she, those banana boat bicycles that were real popular, they were completely unsafe. But we didn't know that at the time, and my brothers got those. My brothers being younger, they had the handlebars that came up, so and then it had kind of a banana seat. So presumably you could have somebody on it with you. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, we came home for Christmas, or she came home for Christmas. We were there for Christmas. They got them for Christmas. That's all I remember. And sometime during that week, and we loved riding bicycle. In fact, I think we only had one bicycle growing up. It was the bicycle of my father, with the big fat tires, and no gears, just the power of your own feet and legs. And that's what we rode. And he painted it, and that's what we learned to ride bicycle on. And I don't remember having another bicycle, but anyway, they got those bikes, and we lived on a very short street, narrow street, and it was kind of on a hill. Everything's on a hill in Middle Tennessee, and she went up. We peeled out of the house, which was about halfway up and down. It was short street. She went up the hill, and I went down the hill. And I went down, and I came around. We were trying them out, And I went down the hill and turned around and came back up to meet her. She was she was laying in the street. Oh my gosh, unconscious, because those very unsafe bicycles. See, when we learned to ride on my father's bicycle, it was very stable. And so we would ride with our hands not on the handlebars. We'd cruise on that street with our arms out. So I think what she did is she put her arms out, and those handlebars, the front wheel just went, and she went down, and so she was went by ambulance to Vanderbilt, and I don't remember how long she stayed there, but it was bad, and so that started her problems with, one of her eyes kind of went a little bit funny, and then she lost her sense of smell. So she imagine, and she was a good cook, imagine she went through her whole adult life without being able to smell flowers, food. Freak accident. Wow. Anyway, I didn't mean to go down that road. So I crammed it all in over here, and then Walker, let's see, he got here yesterday, and he brought Fred, of course. Fred is the red golden retriever. You may have seen a picture of Fred. And can you believe I was just so intent? I was working in the lower garden. I was watering when he got here, and so I set him, when he got settled, they came down, and Fred is so good. This is the electric. It wasn't on, obviously, but I couldn't have Fred in the 5,000 square foot garden because there's little seedlings everywhere. Oh my goodness. So he was very good, and he stayed out, and remember the row of sweet peas, the snow peas, and the snap peas. Well, I had already taken the snow peas out and replanted both sides with cucumber, trellising cucumber. And so all that was left to take out was the taller snap peas, the purple magnolia. By the way, I don't know, you can maybe get them somewhere else, but I used to get all my seeds from Botanical Interests. I also have an affiliation with another seed company as well, but I am an affiliate of Botanical Interests. So if you're interested in those seeds, find all the links how you can support the channel below the video. Purple magnolia, they were beautiful. It makes a purple pod, but the peas are green inside. And the vines just know when to shut off. I mean, the vines just started turning yellow, even with watering, so I knew it was it. I knew that was it. And for whatever reason, I didn't get down there. I was working on other stuff. I didn't get those peas harvested. And so I could have had 3 or 4 meals, probably, just myself, with the peas that were left. But he had to take them all off and just put them in a... well, it almost filled up the entire harvesting basket. And so I thought, well, I'm going to be saving the seeds to replant. And I'm going, it would take me 5-6 years to use all those seeds. What was I thinking? I should have eaten them. I mean, once they dry, can you rehydrate those and eat them now? I actually have never done that. I've never frozen green peas or anything. I did set aside the snow peas, a few snow peas for replanting, but I wound up with all the peas. They didn't get eaten. That's crazy. You go to all this work and then you don't eat the vegetable. That's my bad. That's my bad. Anyway, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, it's it would be so nice just to go on a vacation. There's a homesteading conference in Idaho, and I would love to go to that and meet my dear friend, who I haven't met in person, but I'm going to one way or another, Mary's Nest. Mary at Mary's Nest. She has given me so many recommendations and shout outs, and so many people have come over from hearing about me from Mary's Nest. Welcome to you all. She's a wonderful person. I hope that I can be the same wonderful person. I don't know any of her cooking skills. but I really appreciate all the new subscribers that have come over. Many people have written me and said, "Oh, I admire you." And I think, well, I hope I'm worthy of that admiration. I try really hard. But it would be nice just to take off and go to well, you're technically still working if you go to these conferences, because you're gathering information, you're networking, especially if you're a channel owner, you're trying to build relationships, get people to watch your channel and all of that. So it's not just a break. It's still part of your prep to go to a homesteading conference, because you're still learning, about what else you might be doing, need to do to be prepared for what's coming. I mean, I don't know why I laugh when I think about all this, but it's just, they're saying now that the digital dollar is coming in July. I read in the same day, I read July and I read December from 2 different places. Please do your own research. I have no idea how it's going to work. My son and I were talking about it last night. I mean, I know the theory. The overall arching theory is we will own nothing and we will be happy. They don't even want us to own our own furniture, much less a car and a house. They want us all in 15-minute cities where we're all together in high-rises where they provide everything and we're totally dependent. Once we're totally dependent, you see, we have no independence or sovereignty. Excuse me. So all of these things are on my mind, and it would just be great to just go on a vacation. Remember Zachary was here last weekend. And so that Sunday morning, we were going to go out and work. And at 2:30 in the morning, I'm just sort of laying there in bed, like you do, and this awareness came, and I touched my leg, and I felt just a tiny. It felt like a grain of sand. There's Walker. Come out here and say hi. I was hoping I could get him in to say hi. I just touched my leg. It felt like a grain of sand there, and I go, that wasn't there yesterday or ever. And so it was so tiny, and you know, I have neck degeneration as well as lower spine, and I'm like trying to look down. I've got a magnifying glass and tweezers. I'm going, no, I'm gonna. So when they got up, I said, they slept in, and I said, rather than work, can we go to the urgent care? So it's like tick season, and you got to be really careful. How that little tiny tick got way up there under my clothes, I don't know. I went down to see my neighbor Derek in the morning, and we were walking around the barn, but everything's mowed around there, so I don't know, you know, who knows. I wasn't off exploring or anything, but ticks are everywhere, so you got to be really careful. Hey, Walker! Let me grab him real quick. So he's feeding Fred, and he'll be out here in just a second. He said that he went into regenerative agriculture, which used to be called, let's see, what did they call it? Sustainable agriculture. And, you know, everyone in that field started saying, why are we calling it sustainable? We don't want to sustain this. We want to regenerate the land, because the land has been so depleted in many cases from industrial farming. And oh my gosh, there's a bird nest on my downspout. Hey, here's Fred. Oh, let's see. Fred.
I know, it's all new.
Everything's happening at once. A helicopter just went over. Oh, here's Fred. Let's see. Fred, your close-up. Fred, right here for your close-up. There we go. Isn't he a beauty? Isn't he a beauty?
Yes, he is. The best dog in the world, yeah. I know.
Yeah, this is my son Walker. If you haven't seen him, I have about 4 or 5 videos on my channel, and I'll put the link up there to that little playlist. This is Fred. He's very well trained. He's a good boy. Did you enjoy your breakfast? Did you enjoy your breakfast?
I think you did.
You set the bowl down, and what is it, like 60 seconds?
Yes. Sit. Hey, sit.
It's 60 seconds, and he.
Sit.
Yeah, you've got. By the way, you've got a cactus right behind you, Fred. So don't back up. Anyway, I'm just so glad to have a little help here. Be even more awesome if we were off going skiing or going to a beach somewhere, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's work to be done, because things are in kind of a crisis situation
Fred,
in our world.
Come here.
He's okay. I mean, unless you don't want him out there.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway, tell him what you do.
I source regenerative beef and bison for a company called Force of Nature.
He's taller. Hold on.
So I work with a lot of farmers and ranchers all across the world. And yeah, love doing it. Really love being part of the movement. And yeah, it's a good place to be.
So. Yeah. Oh, don't watch. He's.
I know. I need it. I need to go pick it up. So.
Okay. He's going to the bathroom. That's what happens after you feed a dog. 5 minutes later, it comes right out the back end. It would be nice for it to function that well with humans, wouldn't it? So anyway, on that note, thanks so much for joining me for Catching Up with Kaye. Where's my cup? I hope you enjoyed it. I know a number of my longtime fans have these mugs. I had a potter in Phoenix make these for me, custom made, and I actually have a few more. She made me some more because she had stopped for a while, and she made me a few more. So grab your mug and we'll sign off. Thank you so much for joining me on this big day with, I'm just glad Walker's here, and we're going to get. So some of the projects we're going to start with making an electric fence, building an electric fence around my flower garden. I just said yesterday, I am not going to keep working on this flower garden and come out here and see everything mowed down from the deer. So if I don't get, and I don't want to put a big 8-foot T-post fence right, looking right at that right off my front porch. So I'm hoping that we're going to try to do a maze. Maybe I'll do a video. I don't know. I want to make sure, since I only have today and tomorrow, that we get that done. And we're going to start the cleanup of the tomato terraces and set up the Florida weave. I've got to cover the grapefruit vines, and there's some other big things. The main thing I want him to help me with is to organize my shop, because it's just, I can't even get in the door. You know, everything's piled up, all the tools, so it's just, can't find anything. So that's the big thing. So I'll let you know how much we accomplished. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.